Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tom's Guitar Show. I'm Tom. They call me Guitar Tom because, well, frankly, I'm often seen with a guitar. They call me on the phone. They ask me, they say, hey, man, what's your show about anyway? I say, well, it's about an hour. It's about guitar players, guitar playing, all things guitaristic. So here's the thing. If you want to call me on the phone and ask me a question about the guitar, the care and feeding of a guitar, what kind of guitar is right for you, you want to talk about some related topic like the guitarrón, the cítara, lute, oud, vihuela, banjos, balalaikas, bazookies, bajos, sextos, tiples, cavaquinhos. You want to talk about, I don't know, tiples. Did I say tiples already? I'm starting to lose my thing, man. Okay. Ukuleles. I don't know, some mandolins, mandoras, mandolas. Anything with strings on it's fine. You want to talk about a bass fiddle, that's great. You want to talk about pipe organs, piccolos, octarinas, accordions, clarinets, clavinets, clavinovas, clavichords, harmoniums or harpsichords or harmonicas. I mean, you know, crumhorns, cordholts, sackbuts, trombones or tromba marinas. Call the show, it's fine. We're here for you. Want to talk about politics, world events, or your own personality problems? That's okay too, but please keep it clean. This is a family program. Okay, that's good enough, isn't it?
We see you have 3 guitars tonight.
This is a tale of 3 tellies. Yeah, I brought 3 Telecasters with me, and I have a couple of issues, you see, so that I want to delve into. First off, I brought this one, which has gone out of tune since I've been standing here. I had it in tune before the show, but while I was playing the intro, it went out of tune because of the lights.
Someone turned the lights on.
That's right. And also you can see I'm dressed in my native Iowa garb. This is... I just called my son. He's touring East Coast colleges. He's going to be a senior in high school, so he was out... he's on the East Coast. He has been there for a couple of weeks, you know, with his friend. And his friend's parents are driving up and down the East Coast to look at colleges and things. And... so just in honor of him going to Philadelphia, and where he's on his way to Philadelphia, but I was thinking that, you know, I want to look like people on the East Coast expect Iowans to look, because...
out here where we grow those famous potatoes.
That's right. With our big cities like Cincinnati and Boise. Right. This is what they call the flyover. I don't know. I called the boy up the other day. He said, I said, where are you? Some city. I said, yeah, well, where? What city? I don't know. He said, what state are you in? He said, New Jersey. I said, are you at Princeton? Yeah, that's the one. So, anyway, so anyway, so my one thing is, okay, for one thing, I'm in this Telecaster phase again. This is my butterscotch, which I think is more like some sort of mustard, Tele. It's a nice G&L, made in the USA, made in California, by Californians. There's a famous, right here, this is a French nose. I got this off of a French Impressionist painting.
How does that guitar smell?
That's right. It smells like a Frenchman. And, but I mean, I think this all I got this in a pawn shop at a tremendous discount. And the only thing wrong with this guitar was that the pick guard here, the top plate basically was horribly gouged right there at this sort of angle because somebody was abusing it with a pick. Other than that, the guitar had, you know, hardly been played. There's no fret wear whatsoever. It didn't seem to be. So anyway, I had this calendar of French Impressionist paintings, and what I was doing was I was making my own little CDs at home, and to put labels on them, I put pretty labels. I would photocopy my calendars, my old calendars, like the wildflowers and so forth, and the French Impressionist paintings. And this happened to be one of those bits that you don't use if you're just labeling CDs. So I use this one little bit to cover up the gouge marks because putting a new pick guard ought to be like $75 or something, and this I could do for free. So anyway, so it has a French nose on it, and a majestic French nose it is. Other than that, it's a perfectly good maple neck G&L, which is George and Leo, is Leo Fender's company. After he sold Fender, he sold his name. So this is G&L, ASAT, as same as Telecaster or something. Anyway, the so I have this one. Hang on. I want to turn this down so I can unplug it. I also have the black one, which I'll play in a minute. I'm very fond of it, that I got a while ago. It's back here in the stand behind me. This one, which is different. But the one I want to look at first, for my own curiosity, is this one right here. And this is not mine, so I better not drop it. This is one I'm borrowing from a music store. I kind of want to own it. And it's, yeah, I know. They're laughing at me because I've got a problem with this. Got a consumption. Maybe I'm too materialistic, but
I have a serious Guitar Jones.
yeah, I have a Guitar Jones. But the problem with this one, it sounded great in the guitar shop, but I took it home when I plugged it into my amp, and it made this terrible humming noise that another guy's cheap guitar does the same thing. This is a Mexican, also Mexican one, and it's also out of tune. So I'm going to turn this up and see what happens. It's a little buzzy, but sounds pretty good.
There's the buzz.
Yeah. You can hear that at home every time depending on what I move toward. Anyway, so I like this guitar a lot, actually. In a lot of ways, it feels good. The neck feels good. It's a little bit bigger neck than the G&L has. It has these big frets. It's actually like if you've watched the show a lot, and I'm sure people are just flipping back and forth. I had a green Telecaster that I actually sold to Josh, who's our executive director, quote, fearless leader here at the TV station. And it was basically the same guitar as this, except it was green and made in the USA instead of made in Mexico. But, you know, Mexico is right down the coast, and they share. It's the same company, same people. I mean, you know, I'll say some of my best friends have been Mexicans. But actually, that's true, literally. Anyway,
And if you're going to play mariachi,
well, that's when I got to know a lot of Mexicans. Well, my buddy Raimundo, we did a show here together, a few shows. We called it Hola, which is a Spanish language show. And I don't really speak Spanish, but I would just sit there and then I played guitar along with him. He would sing, and then he would, we'd take calls and talk about issues, that are pertinent to the Latin American community. So my buddy Raimundo, he left town years ago, and anyway, I think that was our first PATV Spanish language program. But anyway, that's got nothing to do with it. But here it buzzes a lot. At home, it actually hums. I can't play this thing. But see, as everything else is great. ahead. Well, the thing about guitars that buzz like this, and because we have all these fluorescent lights all over the place and everything, is that if you play loud enough, you'll never notice it. So,
I think the guitar shop has probably heard that buzz before. And knows a fix.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I got kind of a deal, with the guitar shop, and I could pay things off, over the course of time, and that's how I've gotten a lot of instruments. But anyway. So, we'll see. I'd kind of like to own this. And, of course, I would, wouldn't I? I have a...
It is, after all, a guitar.
That's right, it is a guitar. I like guitars. But I like other things besides the guitars. I like banjos and mandolins and ukuleles, too. Bass guitars, string basses. If I could get a deal on a cello, never mind. Okay. Anyway... So then we have this guitar.
Yeah, for anybody that watched our remote show last week, there was an electric cello on the show.
That's right. If I could get an electric cello, I probably would. But so things are happening here. Let's see. Something going on with the violin. Oh yeah. Okay. So my other thing I was going to do. Speaking of guitar shops, is you can go to a guitar shop and you can get strap locks. So here's a strap that I kind of like this strap. It's a very soft leather strap, and it's nice in lots of ways, but things will fall off pretty easily. So you can buy strap locks at the guitar shop, and they're rather expensive. And I have some. They're just plastic, but I also this is a neoprene washer or something here, and if you slide it on like this, that strap ain't going no place. There's a really good strap lock's a wonderful thing, of course. That's not the one I want to put on anyway. Oh boy, hang on. Strap lock's a good thing in a lot of ways. I recommend strap locks. The one thing that little neoprene thing here has from the hardware store has in its favor is they're only 45 cents a piece, and yeah. That strap ain't going no place, so to speak. Pardon my English. Yeah. I have another one here. I could afford these. Anyway. So, I've had a problem with, occasionally a guitar will just slip right off. And, especially if you move or you do something, this ensures that this is not going to come off. And this is my little brainchild of yesterday. I went down to the Nodo for a Cobb wrap, the number 13 at the Nodo, kind of a sandwich shop, coffee dispensary out in North Dodge. And while I was waiting for them to wrap up my my Cobb wrap fixings, I went over to the hardware store thinking, there must be something I could use for a strap lock. And by golly, there it was. So. Okay. Do some tuning. This is a Mexican Strat, but it's a Mexican Telecaster, made by Fender. But unlike the other one, or the other two Teles I have with me today. This one has double coil pickups, also known as humbuckers, because they buck the hum. This is, I believe, 1950s technology, because the old guitars used to really buzz all the time. And one thing is, if you play in a bar with a beer sign, a neon sign. So not only does this really buck the hum, but this is basically the same sort of pickup they put on a Les Paul. It's a much hotter, like thicker sound. So anyway, so there I was at home. I took this. I paid off my last debt to the guitar shop, and I was completely free and clear, standing there. And I'd been thinking about this Telecaster back here, the nice wooden colored one over there. I've been thinking about it all week. It's one of those things, you know. Some people think about terrible things and go out and shoot somebody or do something really wrong, or bet the farm on something. And me, I just keep getting more used Mexican guitars, it seems like, lately. But anyway, so I brought this home, and as soon as I plugged it in, though, it made horrible humming noises and everything. And so just to try something different, I plugged first my Blue Stratocaster that I've had on the show many times, which I bought new in about 1995. And it has what they call, well, they're noiseless pickups. So it's like a double coil, it's a single coil pickup. See, this has two coils going this way so that they cancel out all the noise. Single coils are prone to being noisy. But the noiseless ones, I believe, have one coil and they have something else going the other way to mimic the effect of having two coils. So it sounds like it is a single coil sound, and yet it doesn't have the noise associated with it. So anyway, so I had I refitted like a year or so ago. I had my Blue Stratocaster, also a Fender guitar, a real one made in California. I had that refitted with these noiseless pickups, and ever since then it's been wonderful in every way and fine. And so anyway, I was getting all this terrible noise and all this hum and everything like that. So I plugged in the Blue Stratocaster, and nothing, no sound at all. Only sound that came out of it were the sounds that I wanted to make it, you know, the ones I wanted to have come out of it. The notes that I played. No noise, just music. So, so what I'm babbling on about incessantly here is that I don't know. I mean, I could probably get this guitar doesn't make any noise. My Blue Strat doesn't make any noise. My yellow, butterscotch yellow G&L Telecaster, which is a very nice guitar and great, it makes a little noise, not too bad. And this other one, this Mexican one, is terrible. So maybe I could either like get the Mexican one fixed up a little bit, or for about $150, I can get noiseless pickups put in it, and then I'd be, you know,
a few more payments to the guitar store.
Yeah, that's how it would go, wouldn't it? Anyway, but they have a thing down at the guitar shop though. You can rent something for 90 days, and then if you by putting 1/3 down, and if you don't, you know, want to keep it, then you turn it back in, and they keep your, you know, your 33%, and which is a nice system. So if you don't, you know, unless you're a known crook or something like that, anybody can go in and get something nice to play and pay it off, you know, over time. But I've been a very good customer. So I promised myself I wouldn't talk so much on the show, but I've been talking about Telecasters, single coil, double coil pickups, and hardware store neoprene.
Maybe you should play something.
Yeah, maybe I should. Yeah, okay. Well, this is a... One more boring thing I'll say before I start playing something is, this is actually a really decent guitar. I really like this guitar, and I'm glad I have it. And the thing is, though, it doesn't sound much like a Telecaster. It sounds more like a Les Paul, and it actually makes a pretty decent jazz guitar. So... Oh well. So, any news? I see you have your well, I have your laptop. See, sometimes we really need your laptop here, and then
And other times it's just a paperweight.
it just sits there, yeah. Because sometimes we want we need the news and stuff, and for some reason, like you don't have it, or more often than not, something goes wrong with the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And then, but then now, I mean,
the
I don't
Wi-Fi kind of fades in and out sometimes.
know. Yeah, well, life is full of sadness and electronic.
Well, as we mentioned earlier, big news down in Kelowna at the livestock sale yesterday.
yeah.
Where we probably should mention you'll be in Kelowna this weekend.
You know, I will be in Kelowna this weekend. I'm going to, I'll be playing guitar at the Tuscan Moon, sort of an Italian steakhouse right in the middle of downtown Kelowna, right near where the incident happened, actually.
Scenic Amish country.
Scenic Amish country. Kelowna, about 20 miles south of Iowa City, easy to get to. I'll be there at the Tuscan Moon on Friday and Saturday night. I'm supposed to play at 6, so I'll be there by 6:30. As a usual guitar fashion. I'm supposed to knock off at 9, but once again, I overstay my welcome, and I'll play till at least 9:30. Sometimes I play till 10. So, and I'll be doing my electric nylon string guitar thing, and I won't say a word, and I'll shave. I won't wear overalls.
So if anybody wants to hear you play live, without the chatter,
without all this, yeah, incessant talking about guitar stuff, because
they can hear the guitar instead of the guitar picker.
That's right. See, at home, I can actually see somebody rolling her eyes when I talk about this stuff, you see. But out there in the viewing audience, I can't see them because this is a one-way thing. If I look at the TV there, I see there's a countdown. I've got 28 minutes left in the show. And if I look over that monitor, I see myself needing a shave, wearing overalls, holding a black Telecaster. Anyway, but so I'll be just playing the guitar down there. And it would be a beautiful weekend for it, too, because it's supposed to be
the weather's
hot.
Supposed to be break. Highs around 80.
Yeah.
Lows in the 50s this weekend.
That's right. And that's going to be great. On Saturday, I have a wedding reception to play beforehand, and I'll be there. I might be late, but I probably won't be later than usual, actually, because,
which for a musician is pretty good.
I always show up a little late, sober and ready to work. Yeah. And ready for to play, and I don't offend anybody. I don't say much. I don't I don't offend the waitresses or anything like that. Which is not a good idea anyway because they have access to your food. And,
just nice background music for people to enjoy their meals.
Yeah, and it's also you can hear it. We got it. I've got to tweak the situation. If you sit right in front of the table right in front of me, it's going to be kind of loud. But anybody else in that whole patio area out there, it's going to be audible, so you can listen to it if you want. But it's also going to be you can talk over it, and you're encouraged to. So, but I play a lot of fancy stuff there. It's kind of nice. I get to play. I mean, I don't think if I played in a bar, a nightclub situation, I don't think I'd listen to me necessarily either. Yeah. I guess if I were singing about my own personal problems, like a singer-songwriter and stuff, and everybody's just talking and drinking and carrying on, I'd be offended. But the restaurant thing suits me, because it's not a bar, and it's not a concert either, for that matter. So anyway, I will be in Kelowna, and there was something. Somebody had a guy driving a pickup truck at the sale barn, which is where they auction off horses and other livestock, had some sort of medical emergency of some sort, and he accelerated and tore through people and tore through town and ran into things, and then finally the last thing I read, though, was that he came back to his senses and stopped the
Yeah,
truck
that's
on
what
his
they
own.
said, that the auctioneer and his staff were in the back of the truck, and they were yelling at the driver, who appeared to wake up and let off the gas. Of course, at about that time, he hit a tree, apparently. Having driven through the crowd, I think one person was killed, 6 or 7 injured.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't know what the details. I mean, I guess I'll learn more about what happened to him or something in the future. But
Yeah, you can bring us back a report next week.
well, I'm sure it'll be the topic of conversation.
Yeah.
We have what they call the family there. We all sit together. All the staff we sit together after the customers leave at about 10 o'clock, and we have dinner, which is great, but also unfortunate though, because I ate my big meal of the day at 10 o'clock at night. I finish by about 11, and then I get home at midnight.
Right.
I mean, it'd be better to eat at 6, and then get home at 9, and then go to bed at 11, and then.
But that's the life of a musician.
Right, and which is fine, except that I have to get up the next morning and teach lessons, and, so it's hard to get to sleep because I do drink on the job, but what I drink is iced tea, and
Which keeps you awake.
that's right, and it also gets you up in the night, if you know what I mean. But there's caffeine involved.
Well, maybe you're not quite my age, but
Yeah, you're going to get up in the night anyway?
yes.
I see. Okay.
When you reach a certain age, that's just going to happen.
I see. Well, it's nice I'm sure that it's nice to see the evening sky and out the window, and of course the cat is always happy to have somebody to play with at 3 o'clock in the morning. So part of her cycle is to be awake at 3 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, but anyway, yeah. So I drink the iced tea, but I have to get up in the morning and teach. Is what I'm saying. So it's I mean, I think it's some people go to bed at 10. They get up at 6. Best part of the day.
Yeah.
See? Me, I could easily go to bed at 5 o'clock in the morning. I mean, that's sort of like. It all started when I was here. I'm reminiscing. I'm sorry, but it started out when I was a kid. I had a job in the graveyard shift as a cook in a 24-hour restaurant. Yeah. And then I was an overnight or the night shift desk clerk in a hotel in San Francisco for a while when I was young. And then I've been a musician, so that you can. Like I played in one bar in Wisconsin, and it would close at 2:30 in the morning. I would play till 2:29, basically. I would play till the very end. That's the way it was. And then they'd shoo everybody out, and I'd hang around waiting for the money to get counted and everything like that. And I would get paid at about 3:30 or so in the morning, maybe more like 4. And then we could go out for breakfast at the truck stop, which is 24 hours. I have the trucker special. And I don't think I was really beef in the steak. It was leather anyway. And then I had a choice of either staying with the owner, who would stay up and continue to drink until 8 o'clock in the morning when he would go to bed, or I could drive home. So a lot of times I'd be better off, because the thing was I would sleep on his couch, and then his daughter would get up in the morning and be smoking cigarettes, reading the paper in the chair right next to me, and I would inhale all her secondhand smoke like this on somebody's lumpy couch, or I could just drive home, starting at 5 o'clock in the morning, or sometimes I could leave at 4, and it'd be a 2.5 hour drive minimum maybe, and then I could get home by 6 or 7, and you could watch the Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle or the Three Stooges in the morning, in those days anyway.
Yeah.
So
I've worked evening shift and night shift. Mm-hmm. Evening shift, you get off at like 11:30, and you go home and turn on the TV, and all it's on there's, where there's a will, there's an A, and how to get rich in real estate.
Yeah.
You're not going to set a fire on the bonnet of that $100,000 Jaguar, are you?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I remember those days.
Of course, nowadays with cable, I guess there's a lot of other stuff on, but...
Yeah, there's video on demand, too, of various species. Well, it used to be the old days we had... I had just the rabbit ears. Even though I could have had cable, I didn't want to get that much TV, so it was infomercials. And there was one time, I remember when after a certain hour it would be... all the channels I could get had Girls Gone Wild infomercials.
Oh, yeah.
And speaking as an uncle of young women, it sort of bothered me that they were, taking advantage of young women who were on, vacation, spring break, and obviously have been drinking too much, and were in some sort of peer pressure to misbehave. Yeah. And what happens in Cancun stays in Cancun, except that she's on TV and on 3 different stations that some guy is like flipping around, and I keep seeing the same young woman raising up her T-shirt, and then of course order now stars over here, like order now, and anyway, never mind.
You read the fine print at the bottom of the screen, and it's like record clubs or something. They're selling you that DVD, or probably at that time VHS, for little or nothing.
Right.
But you've joined their club, and they're going to send you one every month until you figure out a way to get it stopped.
That's right. Yeah. Well, I've actually never. I never called in for one. I did call in for one thing, though. I called in for the Pinkerton Bowden Getting Stupid CD, and it was 2 guys who do country parody songs. Yeah. And I remember one. Sorry. Take the rose bush from my hair, shake loose all them little thorns. What's the sprinkler doing on so damn early in the morn? Crawling home at 5 a.m. That sidewalk sure gets hard. This is a family show. Guess I drank too much again. Help me make it through the yard. I don't know what's right or left. I'm too drunk to even stand. Why the devil don't you help me? Please take your foot off of my hand. Put some coffee on the stove. We'll go try and find your car. I can't make it on my own. Help me make it through the yard. Get my lawyer on the phone. Help me make it through the yard. Anyway.
I've heard Christofferson on talk shows speak of his younger days, and that might not be a parody.
Yeah. I think yeah. Well, the bar I used to play in Wisconsin frequently that I would drive home from, the people were there definitely to get hammered. Yeah. And I sang that version of it there, and the place erupted in laughter and cheering.
They'd all lived that story.
Yes, many times, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know. People have to have fun, but I have fun playing and collecting guitars. So
and like Mac Davis said, as long as you're making music, you can't do nobody no harm.
I suppose it's. I've seen a lot of bad behavior, but.
As long as you're not participating in it.
Right, but But I've always been sort of a fringe element in these things. You know, it's like I used to play in a number of bars where fights would erupt, and there was Laurie's Lounge in Windsor Heights, which I guess is a suburb. That's pretty part of the Des Moines metro area, and I used to play there sometimes on the weekends. It'd be like a 3-day weekend, it'd be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and there were like, you know, fights would break out. People like fist fights and so forth, and the police would come much later, and they'd send some silver-haired gentleman in a squad car by himself, and by that time everybody was long gone. Right. I remember the bouncer was a woman, kind of a, you know, tough-looking woman, but very persuasive. I don't know if she ever had to actually because I've seen people actually physically get thrown. I mean, like steroid-enhanced weightlifter guys. Actually, I saw one guy actually get thrown out of a bar once, but a place where I was playing actually with Raimundo back in the days, and this guy gets thrown out, and he turns around and tries to get back in again. And it's like, anyway, but I mean, like at Laurie's Lounge, you know, there would be these people. One guy was, you know, going to go hit her, but then instead he tore the payphone off the wall. This is a long time ago when they used to have payphones on the wall before everybody
got a cell phone.
Yeah, but his little, you know, phone in their pocket. But anyway, so, you know, I would watch these things happen. Fights break out, the police would come and so forth. And I'd be like in the old Westerns, you know, there'd be a barroom brawl and the piano player would still be playing and things would be flying. I've been sort of done my own version of that and stuff, you know.
Or like the Blues Brothers.
Oh, yeah, when the bottles come and, the
got
chicken
a fence
wire
in front of them.
That's right. Chicken wire bars exist, apparently. And I was talking to a guy about that not long ago. He used to play in, that's right, chicken wire bars in North Dakota, I think. So there's not much to do there, but when you get drunk, you do a lot. So, and he was like, they actually did have chicken wire in front of the fences, and in front of the stage, and they needed it. So, because in the Blues Brothers, when they didn't like them, they'd throw the beer bottles at them. But when they liked it, they'd throw beer bottles to celebrate. You know, and they keep playing. But well, anyway. But I used to play, even here in town. I mean, I would, you know, like, they used to play at the Vine back in the old days, down there off of Gilbert and Prentice. And there'd be, you know, a brawl would.
Yeah.
Like basically at least once in the night, you know, there'd be some fists flying and the police would come. And but you know, I'm more like a classic. I mean, I'm not really. I mean, I guess I'm a classical guitarist in that I play classical guitar music, and I have books on it, and I teach lessons in it, and I have classical guitars at home, more than one, as you can imagine. But it's kind of a more nerdy thing, you know, and like. You know, people like shouting and throwing things and punching each other is not really the sort of thing you do at the kind of gig that I want to play.
Right.
Which, I mean, I guess playing in Kelowna may seem...
So there's no chicken wire down at the Tuscan Moon?
Far from it. I've never seen a fight there. And
that's kind of an upscale wine place, isn't it?
Yeah. It started out as a wine bar, and now they have a gourmet dining and fancy wine.
Date place. Yeah,
it's a date place, but... Actually, to tell you the truth, a lot of the people on dates are people with gray hair, and so I mean it's not cheap, you know. It's not like super expensive, but it's not a cheap kind of place, and it's kind of elegant in a rustic way. So, I mean, you know, it's Tuscan Moon. You go through this nice entryway with the vines growing over the kind of gateway, and there's this big. I didn't really know what a pergola was until I started working there. You know, that's a kind of like a roof that keeps the sun off of you, but it's, you know, it's a mesh, so it won't keep the rain off you. But if it rains, you sit inside. But you know, and then the building itself is in the old hotel from town, so it has a very high ceiling, and you know, they got a chef who knows what he's doing, and you know, food's good. It's a good place to get, you know, a really high quality steak, and you know, a $50 bottle of wine, something like that. So. There's another thing. I mean, you gotta go get hammered on Saturday night on $100 bottles of wine. At least, kind of people I hang around with aren't going to do that. But so, anyway, it suits me because I get to play very sophisticated music. You know, I don't have to. I mean, if you take requests, if people ask you to play certain things in a bar, and people will ask me to play things that are kind of, you know, inappropriate. You know, and even if somebody does ask me to play something like. Somebody asked me to play Hotel California, and I used to accompany a singer that I worked with. We were a duet act, and you know, an attractive young woman who sang nicely, and me sitting sort of off behind with the guitar, playing the guitar part. Very easy to get employed doing that. You know, if a guy comes up, like I go and say, "You got a guitar gig for me?" We'll say, "Oh no, man, here comes another guy with a guitar." But if it's a woman who's
So if you have a pretty woman,
yeah, a pretty woman
part
who's
of the act.
because people, I mean, most people like pretty women. I mean, other women like pretty women, and men like pretty women, and you know, it's good for business, you know. So, and that's the bottom line. So, so I used to do like all these popular songs with actually a number of women I've worked with in the past. So I do the Hotel California, like. Something like that. I'm out of tune again. Okay. Sorry. I'm having issues with my tuning and so forth. Well, here. I'm gonna try this one again. This is a, yeah, I've noticed my, I'm wearing a PATV shirt, and actually I'd like everybody to believe at home that we painted this wall with this Tom's Guitar Show logo.
This beautiful studio they've supplied us with.
That's right. But actually it's just green. And the reality is, so often is in show business, it's all fake. This is the,
We aren't here. We're phoning this in from home.
That's right. Well, this is a Tom'sGuitarShow.com banner, and I'm looking through you, and you're not there.
PATV logo is invisible.
That's right. Look at me. I'm fading away. Oh well. So.
When it cools off, I'll wear my chroma key hoodie in some night.
Okay. I'll just get myself a chartreuse jumpsuit or something. I guess I really couldn't wear it anywhere else, could I?
Well, there were some people on a truck in the Beef Days parade wearing them.
Yeah.
Those chroma key suits.
Didn't do it any good, did it? Well, maybe they could have probably done it at home. They could have taken that tape home and
I'm not sure if they were supposed to be little green men from Mars or what their story was, but
yeah. Well, there's a show called Trip to the Moon that we had. Some of the guys here made, and in the end they had rain ponchos that were that color of green. So these guys were running around in these ponchos, which, you know, so their faces would be.
I ain't got no body.
I ain't got nobody. Well, that was in Young Frankenstein, I think. Marty Feldman as Igor. Right. It was Mel Brooks directed it.
Yeah, Young Frankenstein.
Frankenstein, that's right, and Igor,
yeah.
And which is Marty Feldman, who had, of course, kind of interesting eyes. He would. Then he was there. So, I ain't got no body. Anyway, it's just, I don't know. This sounds like a Telecaster is supposed to. You know, it's a... Might as well go full telly on it.